His mother was calling from Austria, wanting him to come back for the funeral of his father. Obviously, he made the right choices in life. Most of the times, of course. You know the slogan, it's good to be evil. That's what we're talking about today. The reason why we people are drawn to villains in popular culture is because they are the most realist ones. They depict reality in a very grim, dark, yet very truthful manner. They don't sugarcoat, they don't blow sunshine up our asses, they tell as it is. When it comes to power, it's all about knowing human nature and what works in manipulating them into doing what you want. And if you have Hollywood fantasies in your head about how life is structured, you won't get far in life. Precisely why we should learn from the best in the business. Petyr Baelish is one of the beloved and hated characters on Game of Thrones, and he has some lessons for you on how to progress in life. Let's hit it.
On the south. Fight every battle, everywhere, always. In your mind. Everyone is your enemy. Everyone is your friend. Every possible series of events is happening all at once. Live that way, and nothing will surprise you.
This is exactly why I talk about people coming to and going from your life. You have to be realistic in why people create bonds. Nothing in life is just for sake of it. Everything has its purpose. And just because we choose to sugarcoat and believe in people's good nature doesn't mean that the reality won't come kicking in your ass. Whenever someone betrays you, abandons you, cheats on you, you have to take people for what they are. All of us are trying to climb up that hierarchy. And in order to do so, we have to create alliances. Those alliances last as long as it's serving a certain purpose. Don't be fooled to think that people like you just for your shimmering eyes.
You created your own sigil, didn't you?
Yes.
Appropriate for a self-made man with so many songs to sing.
I'm glad you like it. Some people are fortunate enough to be born into the right family. Others have to find their own way. Sometimes I've heard even brothers and sisters develop certain affections. And when those affections become common knowledge, well, that is an awkward situation.
That one belongs to the Queen. And do you see that scepter, pretending to read her book?
Larissa the Queen.
No, she's one of mine.
There are a lot of people who are whining, bitching and moaning about being dealt a wrong hand, a bad hand. So their starting point is set up very far from the top and they feel that there's no point even trying. Of course, I understand that this character is fictional, but there's a lot of examples from true life stories where people come from nothing and gain everything. The only barrier standing before you is your limited mind. If you don't have power, you acquire it. Brick by brick, day by day, a process that takes time and responds to the compounded effect. Don't let your background to stand in your way. Make it to your power. Let it fuel your hunger for success.
I've always wanted a ship. Now I want a dozen. Strange, isn't it?
What is?
It doesn't matter what we want. Once we get it, then we want something else.
I will do a video on discontent state of human nature, and it's crucial for evolution, for the consciousness to expand. We always have to crave more in order for development to occur. I made a video on greed, and it's a big part of wanting more, this hunger for expansion. You can watch it here, after you've watched this one, of course. If you're not progressing, you are regressing. And yet again, not solely in a materialistic manner. You have to want more in every part of your life. Knowledge, power, status. And as I said before, your mind is the only limitation.
I am not tutored in warfare, but basic arithmetic favors the side with the greater numbers.
If war were arithmetic, the mathematicians would rule the world.
Wars are conducted by humans, and humans are emotional creatures. Math is too logical and precise for humans, especially in a moment of despair, fear, and intense anxiety. War is not a chess match where you're just planning, strategizing in peace, and the only enemy you have is the clock ticking. War is dynamic. War is alive. Now, it sounds like I have been waging wars since childhood. It's not like that, of course. I know some things about humans and strategizing. When you're planning something, expect detours, because there are plenty things that you don't control in this life, especially other human beings. Getting from point A to point B is never a straight line.
The people who tried to murder my boy.
We only make peace with our enemies, my lord. That's why it's called making peace.
This is some raw knowledge here. And this cunning and ruthless attitude is very necessary in order to compete at the highest level of power. I came to think about Arnold Schwarzenegger. In his biography, he talks about how he was prepping to Mr. Olympia contest. And 3 months out, his mother was calling from Austria, wanting him to come back for the funeral of his father. But Arnold said, "No, I have some business to take care of." Now, some people would perceive it as a betrayal or being a cold-blooded and not having any empathy towards his family members. But the truth of the matter is, you have to compare to the results he gained.
If my life was a movie, no one would believe it.
Throughout his life, throughout his career. Obviously, he made the right choices in life. Most of the times, of course. And if that attitude is what it takes to get somewhere in life, then that person is who you have to become.
What do you want?
I thought you knew what I wanted.
I was wrong.
No, you weren't. Every time I'm faced with a decision, I close my eyes and see the same picture. A picture of me on the Iron Throne. Learned that I'll never win. Not that way. That's their game. Their rules. I'm not going to fight them. I'm going to fuck them. That's what I know. That's what I am. And only by admitting what we are can we get what we want.
I came to think about the council of Napoleon III, Talleyrand. I read that his power in actuality exceeded the power of Napoleon. You don't have to sit on the throne to play the game of chess. You just have to pull the right strings. Ambition is very devouring, and the thing with ambition is that you get more of it as your power and status grows. So you have to be careful to not let it control you. The moment it controls you, you have to always take a step back, regroup your thoughts, understand the situation, and plan ahead. Also, as he said, you have to admit to yourself who you are, admit your true self. Only when you know the starting point can you plan for the future destination. It's like this problem of feminine men in today's era. Because they're acting feminine, they cannot get anywhere in life. This one specific perception of them doesn't respond to the actions, to the life choices that they make. Also, on a personal level, I had to assume the role of a man in order to take the right actions in life. I understood that nobody is coming to my rescue, and the only way I will get somewhere in this life is the moment I grab myself by the cojones and embrace the burden of performance. If you have an internal battle between who you are and who you want to become, you won't get anywhere. You have to accept your current position in order to take steps towards advancement.
But Baelish, perhaps I was wrong to distrust you.
Distrusting me was the wisest thing you've done since you climbed off your horse.
Like a little brother to me, Ned. He would never betray my trust.
I'll try to keep you alive for her sake. A fool's task, admittedly, but I've never been able to refuse your wife anything.
I won't forget this. You're a true friend.
I did warn you not to trust me.
You see, today's friends, tomorrow's enemies. As I said before, these alliances, these bonds that we create with other people last as long as they serve a certain purpose. Never put any outcome that will concern your own life in the hands of somebody else. It's not about micromanagement, it's about macro management. Precisely why I don't trust dietists, therapists, 5-minute diagnosis doctors. You know, those kind of doctors who take 5-minute look on your problem and then write some kind of a prescription. When it concerns my well-being, my physical health, my mental health, I always try to take care of that myself. Because if I don't know myself, then I become dependent on somebody else outside of me, and I will be looking for those people as for oxygen, and I can never allow that. The only person you can have control over is yourself. Make sure that you maximize that possibility.
Tell me, Sir Loris, what do you desire most in this world?
Revenge.
I have always found that to be the purest of motivations.
The purest because it's emotional, it's impulsive. And human beings don't respond logically when they're under pressure, when they're aggravated emotionally. Know that human beings make decisions based on their emotions and then try to use logic to justify why they did what they did. I've got this comment on the video about apologizing or not apologizing, and this person was pointing out how rude it was to not apologize and that you should be noble and gentle and blah 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 yada yada yada. The fact of the matter is that I approach people from a point of emotionality and how they act in most raw and unedited way. People don't act logically, they are impulsive. Our impulses are consequences of our instincts, and those don't come from a place of rationale.
Indeed, especially in a prominent family. Prominent families often forget a simple truth. I've found.
And which truth is that?
Knowledge is power.
I would correct that statement. Knowledge is a potential power. Practice knowledge is a true power. Just because you watch these videos and read some books on self-improvement doesn't mean that you will transform your life into something new, into something better. Improve your life, take a step towards greatness. You have to have this gut feeling, this willingness to push yourself to take actions upon that knowledge. Otherwise, it will be laying there in the back of your brain and dusting until it eventually dissipates into nothingness. Consume knowledge and use it to your advantage. Only then you will become wise, when theory becomes practice.
Look around you. We're all liars here.
That refers to my previous video about lying to yourself. If you're not lying to somebody else and you're telling yourself that you're a very honest person, you're lying to yourself before you lie to others. You're lying to yourself about not lying. Dive deep into yourself to understand how lies function. And of course, watch this video to understand more.
I'd risk everything to get what I want.
And what do you want?
Everything.
I loved your mother since the time I was a boy.
And yet you betrayed her.
I loved you. More than anyone.
And yet you betrayed me.
This is where I can conclude that his hunger for power ate him alive. His hunger for power took the control over him, where he lost his sensitivity finessing people, got ahead of himself and bit more than he could chew. Power is like your ego. If it doesn't serve you, it devours you. I have more videos on power games and you're welcome to check them out. But for now, Hossein out.